Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another community conversation with Hiawatha Homes. I'm Stephanie Rudine, the Foundation Director at Hiawatha. I'm happy to have with me today Bob and Debbie Witte. Bob and Debbie are the parents of Matt, who lives at one of Hiawatha's community-based homes. Today, they'll be sharing their perspective of Hiawatha and why it's so important in the community. I'm hoping that through our conversation that everyone can have a better understanding of our services and its impact on families, as well as what more may be needed within the disability services space. Thank you all for joining. And now I'm just going to turn it over to you. Oh, oops, wrong way. Bob and Debbie, to introduce yourselves quickly, if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Debbie Witte, Matthew's mom.
Yep, I'm Bob Witte, Matt's dad, obviously.
Matthew also has one brother who is Nathan, and he is married to Michaela. So they're the whole family.
That's the whole family. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I have a couple questions just to ask you all, just about your perspective on Hiawatha and also your perspective on Matt as someone who lives at Hiawatha and receives our services. So first, I would love for you to just tell me a little bit about how Matt became involved with Hiawatha, maybe how you all also heard about Hiawatha, and then how his services have evolved over time, because I know he didn't start out living at Hiawatha, correct?
Correct. Okay.
You go.
I think the first time we heard about it is through our social worker, and that was a long time ago. And then as he grew, we started becoming involved with Festival of Trees. So we learned a little bit more about Hiawatha. And then when he was, I don't know if he was like 15 or so, he went into the respite program through Hiawatha. And what the respite program is that he would leave at Friday at 5 o'clock, go to one of your homes, and then we would pick him up on Sunday at 5 o'clock.
2 weekends a month. Yeah.
So he started with respite services.
Correct.
Okay. And then when did he move into one of the Hiawatha homes? That was fairly recently, correct?
Yeah, about a year ago. And he is, I got to keep remembering this, I think he's 29 now. 29 now. So he was at home till he was 28.
Yes. So it's been just a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
So our respite services have paused at the moment, and hopefully we can get that started back up once our staffing is in a better position. But can you tell me a little bit about, and we had some questions, but I'm going a little off script, but a little bit about why respite services you think are so important and why that's important, because that's a service we really want to start up again.
Well, I thought it was a lifesaver for us. Matthew is an easier special needs child, but still it's 24 hours care. And so we didn't feel as a couple or as a family that we had our time. You know, it was nice to have a break and that we could have date night. So that was really nice. And I think it just helped us then look forward to the next one. So it kind of I think it was a break.
Yeah, I do. And probably getting on to one of the questions down the road, Stephanie, that I think that's a huge piece that's missing in Rochester, that respite program, because I do think that allowed us to kind of keep Matt at home for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And we went 1 weekend a month and we went 2 weekends a month.
Yeah.
And we had a good caregiver that would also help out, but the respite was really very helpful.
Because just we had a very, very good person that came to our home and occasionally watched Matthew, but it's not the same because you still had to get up in the morning, or if he woke up in the middle of the night, you still had to get up. So you didn't get a full break.
Yeah.
And so being at respite, you really didn't have to worry about showers or feeding him. You just always had him on your mind if he's living with you. Whereas at respite, it was like, whew, we get
Yeah.
a little break. So we could go out on with friends and stuff. So I think it was so important to us.
Well, yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that caring for the caregiver piece, or in your case, caring for the parents piece, is something that's often overlooked. And you know, the fact that that allowed Matt to be able to stay at home longer, which is, you know, a lot of times a great goal to have. You know, that's a great perspective to share. When it came time to, you know, decide to have Matt live at one of our community-based homes, why did you think, what made you realize it would be a good fit?
Well, quite honestly, we weren't ready. And so our social worker said he's on the list. Kind of, he was always on the list because he was through respite and stuff. But they're like, you know, really should think more seriously about it, because you don't want something to happen to us. We're older parents. And so, yeah, we didn't want to leave that responsibility to our son, our other son. So we decided, yeah, okay. And then when it did happen, it still was hard for us, very, very hard. And so when we did look at the program and look at, because we had really never seen any of the homes.
No.
We had just seen the respite. And it was a very, very good fit. The home that they were proposing, there was an opening. And so we just trusted God, and we did it.
Yeah. And we felt really comfortable with Hiawatha, probably for the long involvement through Festival of Trees. We knew leadership and didn't really know the staff as much, but we were very, very comfortable with the leadership. It's just kind of giving up, you know,
Control.
some control. Mhm.
Yeah. And Matthew's he smiles a lot. He laughs a lot when there's not a commercial on the TV. That's different, but normally he's just a very easy going child. And so that was something that was really hard to let go of, because to see him like that, he would just put a smile on our face almost every day. And so that was hard.
Yeah.
That was very hard.
Yeah. That's a very hard decision. I mean, I think so. A positive is that he's still so close to you all, being here in Rochester, and you know, so in that way, and I know you all have a great relationship with the house coordinator there and the nurse, so I'm sure that helps quite a bit as well.
Well, actually, this morning, the house coordinator, who I really, really like and adore, she sent me some pictures of him this morning. And so that just always puts a smile on my face. And she just tells me a little bit about what's going on. And she doesn't do it every day, but she did it this morning. So what a coincidence, right?
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I think, a lot of our parents appreciate that kind of attention, and, just being able to see that is great. Do you all have any specific times that you know of or remember where Hiawatha was meaningful for Matt? If you don't mind providing a little bit of maybe Matt's perspective on now being kind of a part of Hiawatha.
I don't think of anything specifically. I'm sorry. It's just that the overall experience, I know
Okay.
that he just loves it there. In fact, now occasionally when we go and we pick him up and we take back, at the end, he'll physically push me out of the house. Like, okay, I'm at home. I need you to leave. This is my place. So you need to leave. So I think just that independence and that he feels welcome and comfortable there. I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I think he tends to wander. He likes to wander a bit, and I know he goes, James and the nursing, they have their office. They let Matt come in there and sit in there, and he doesn't interrupt them, but he really, I think he just likes having all the people around, At our place, I'm gone at work, and Deb is there on her own, he may go to his day program, but for the most part, he loves being around the roommates and staff and all that. So
we got to be kind of boring to him.
I think so.
And he loves people and he likes activity, and so I think that he was ready to move for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Hiawatha has just been great.
Mm-hmm.
Just all around, just great.
Been a good fit.
Yeah. I have taken him with Hiawatha. They keep him involved in a lot of activities. For instance, they still do horseback riding, which we had done with him for a long time. So he still does all that. He goes to the Miracle League and he watches them play softball. He hasn't played yet, but I think he will. And then one time we signed him up for, it was like a dance class. So we went there. So Hiawatha still keeps him active even at night. During the day, he goes to a day program. But at night, they still try to keep him active and involved. So it's been great.
Yeah, you really have. It's been a good fit. Great location. It's kind of near the trail, so we take him when we can in the summer. We try to take him either walking or I try to pull them. We didn't do it as much pulling on the bike this year, but
Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. And I know when COVID was more prevalent, or the pandemic was more prevalent, a lot of the activities shut down, but it's great to hear that people, not just math, but a lot of our individuals are back in their day programs. They're back to engaging in activities, which is really our goal. Is it's your home, but it's also a place to enjoy your hobbies and your likes, and have just a meaningful, fulfilling life within the, of course, there's always challenges, and that kind of segues to the next question. You mentioned respite, but I did want to know what you thought were some of the greatest needs, both for Hiawatha and then just for the disability services community as a whole, because I know you all are also involved with some other disability services organizations, some of the day programs, and so have kind of a view of what everything looks like. And then Bob, if you don't mind me sharing, you're also on the board of Hiawatha, so you have some perspective there as well.
what for me, I've felt for years, again, it goes back to the respite again. So we kind of covered that, but I think that's a huge missing piece, and it's staffing. I understand that. I mean, nobody can get staffing. And so I think Hiawatha and all the other programs in town are really trying to lobby our legislature, doing a wonderful job. Unfortunately, it hasn't always worked, but I think that's the probably getting the awareness out into the community, that this is a huge need, to be competitive, to get good staff, and to get staff to have a career in the disability kind of space is huge, and I really do think Hiawatha has been doing a great job with that, and it'd be, I don't know how we're going to get the best way. We're all going to kind of work to get the message out, I think.
I agree, totally agree. I stayed at home with Matthew, and the respite is huge, just huge, and just activities for him. And I know that community ed offers a lot of activities also for them that we could take him. But Matthew is lower functioning, and so a lot of, like, they have art classes, and they have sports and stuff, where Matthew is more of a spectator than a doer. And so they try, but it's really hard to find things for Matthew to do outside of his day program, and which is a fabulous program. Like at night to do things.
Yeah.
You can't really take him to a movie because you're worried about bothering other people. So it is hard.
Yeah.
Bowling was always a good one for us to take him to bowl, and he loved all the crashing of the ball and stuff. But yeah, it is hard to find activities for him to do if they're lower functioning.
Yeah. And staff, again, it goes it goes back to staffing, trying to get them out and about.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, yeah, that's the pay. It's it really is a tough nut to crack at the legislative level. And again, I guess just keep hammering at it.
Yeah, I think those are some great perspectives and points that, a lot of it is advocacy, continuing our advocacy work, working with, collaborating with the other disability services organizations across Minnesota, because it's not just here in Olmsted County and in Rochester. I mean, it's across the state, across the country, I'm sure. But so, continuing that advocacy work, which we try to send out when it's, around the time that, things are happening. A lot of advocacy alerts just to the general community, and ask that parents and staff and everyone get involved. We have had some increase in staffing, which has been really positive, because we did do a wage increase a couple months ago. So that's been great, but it's still not up to where it can be, where we can, like I said, reopen some of those services like respite, or have, as you were mentioning, Deb, those accessible activities. You need a staff to go with the individual,
Right.
And then and someone to stay with maybe the other people who live at the home. So that's a challenge, but I think we're trying our best to move ahead and make change where we can, and continue that important advocacy work. But yeah, thank you all for sharing that perspective, because I think it's important to keep it top of mind for our community, that how important it is to advocate for those higher wages and creating a career for people who love to work in disability services.
Yeah,
which is a lot
yeah,
of
that's
staff.
the thing that there are so, and even staff at the house where Matt's at, the Harvest View. I mean, you can tell that they are passionate about what they do, but you'd hate to have them, the legislature needs to come through, because those folks can't follow their passion if they don't get paid what they should be getting paid. And so great. The advocacy program is really, with the community, realize this is a huge need, and it pays dividends to the community in the long run. So
Exactly. Well, thank you. And as I mentioned, Bob, you are on our board for our HH Inc. board, which we really appreciate. But I'd love to know, you are really involved both as volunteers. And so, Deb, if you don't mind talking a little bit about what you do as a volunteer, because you have a new role as well, and then why you all continue to volunteer. I mean, we touched on this a bit already, and but kind of, a little bit of a plug to so other people can get involved as well.
Well, probably the largest thing that I do is Festival of Trees, and I do that every year. And I think we've been doing it like 16, 17 years, or somewhere around there. So Matthew wasn't at a home yet. But it started, at the beginning, we had no idea, because we had been to the Festival of Trees and saw the beautiful trees, and it was kind of overwhelming. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't do this, And so I enlisted 4 of my friends. And so the 5 of us have been doing it, like I said, for like 16 years. And we just
I did it with her for first couple of years.
That is true. That is true. But then, it's just fun. Also, so we get together on the Monday to put the tree together, and just coming up with a theme every year, and just going with it, and just the excitement that day of doing the Festival of Trees, where we're called designers, but I think we're ornament putter-uppers. I don't know. We just have fun. And so, it's a great awareness, as well as a fundraiser for special needs. I think that is a huge thing, but it is a lot of work for a lot of people. And so it would be very nice if more designers and more people would be involved, and more hands would make it a lot easier for everybody. But it is great. If you haven't been to Festival of Trees, you need to go this year, and just hopefully you should consider doing it. It's just, you won't regret it. It will be fun. So I love it. that's probably the biggest thing that I
Yeah.
do. And then
Well,
you
thank you.
help out with food sometimes.
Yeah, I do. We helped with food. Actually, yeah, we've for Thanksgiving meals and stuff. We provided some of the homes at times with Thanksgiving meals. Um, we have, with the board, I thought it was something that I really felt a need for us to kind of get any way we can, any way we can help. I've been fortunate enough to have some, chairing some committees, been on other boards. And so right now I'm just getting to know the lay of the land that, hopefully I can contribute as well. Not only, to benefit the staff and the other clients, not just Matt, obviously. So yeah.
Well, thank you. And I think, that governance piece is so important, and especially to have parents on our board is really important, because you understand, all of our board members understand the mission, but you have that personal connection, which is really important to be a stronger advocate for the staff and for the individuals. And as Deb mentioned, Festival of Trees, of course, is coming up soon, and we're really excited. And Deb did not mention this, but she's also co-chair of the tree designers this year. So her and Artie, another one of our designer chairs, are working really hard behind the scenes to make sure we have enough tree designers. And we're really excited for this year's festival, which is going to be in a new location at J Powers at the Hilton downtown. And I think we just have 2 spots left for tree designers. So anyone who's interested, as Deb has talked to me about before, it seems overwhelming, but you can definitely do it, and we're here to help you make it happen. And do you want to share your theme for your tree, Deb, or are you keeping that a secret?
Oh no, no secret. We decided to do an Easter theme. So when last March or April, when we were buying Easter stuff, we're like, I don't think we've ever seen an Easter tree, but I'm sure there's been one along, in back years, but so we just bought all the stuff like back in March or April, and just filling it in a little bit now with like some like dangly things and ornaments and stuff. Yeah, it's an Easter tree.
It's it's interesting. We didn't. Her whole family comes in to town for Thanksgiving. We have a house full, and they all look forward going to festival trees to see all the trees. Puts everybody in the Christmas spirit. So they're coming from Chicago, people in Rochester better come say it.
Yes, yes, and it'll be, back to kind of pre-pandemic as far as, all the trees on Friday and Saturday will be open for the general public. It's just a free will donation to come and look at the trees. So it's, anyone can come and it's very accessible. So hope to see everyone there. Before we end our conversation, there's a lot of amazing nonprofits in Rochester and in Olmsted County. But I was just wondering, why do you think it's so important to support Hiawatha? Of course, you have your son is provided services from our organization, but if you just had any other parting words about the importance of supporting our organization.
Well, actually, just to keep a group home running, it's very expensive and staffing is hard to keep and stuff. So just to be able to have our son or any son or daughter move into a group home, it's hard. And Hiawatha has compassion. It also has they've managed their money very well, so they're well funded. So I think that to keep that going, because we will pass away before Matthew does, hopefully. And we just want to make sure that the organization is well funded, strong, keeps going for many generations. So
No,
Yeah.
I think a community that recognizes the importance of kind of supporting the vulnerable adults with disabilities. It's just a huge, and it speaks volumes. I think it speaks volumes of Rochester to, and that Hiawatha grew out of that kind of spirit, and it's absolutely clear that from leadership on down to staff that they are very passionate about these vulnerable individuals. They're very vulnerable. And I think the community benefits from seeing these individuals, thrive. And so, yeah, they do manage their money very well. My short stint on the board so far, believe me. And so I think it's every dollar goes a long way, and it's amazing. There are many good nonprofits in town as well, but I don't think there's any better than Hiawatha the way they manage their.
No, Hiawatha is number one.
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you both so much for joining me and for sharing a little bit about yourselves and Matt. We really appreciate that. And I really hope that it can inspire and empower others to become involved with Hiawatha, involved with advocacy, volunteerism, supporting us. Because as you mentioned, it's so important, and we're a community organization who needs that grassroots support to keep being here, which we will continue to be here. But thank you both so much. And yeah, thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.